It's connecting, sir. Just
okay.
Start, sir.
Okay. I'm V.R.GOVARDHAN Reddy, PGT English from TSRJC Boys, Ningampalli. Today we are dealing with Module 6, Unit 21, Study Skills, and the topics are Information Transfer and Comprehension passages if time permits. Now, first, information transfer. Information is transferred in two ways: verbal, through text in a language, and non-verbal in the form of pie charts, bar graphs, and tree diagrams. Advantages of non-verbal information transfer through pie charts, bar diagrams, and tree diagrams. First of all, non-verbal information transfer helps us to grasp or understand information quickly, very fast. We can understand the information looking at the graphs. Next, it saves time and energy also. We can save a lot of time and energy by this non-verbal information transfer. Next, pictures are processed faster than textual matter by our mind. Generally, when we look at a picture, our mind easily grasps the content of it rather than reading the entire text. Diagrams break the monotony or tiredness of reading. We won't get tired while taking the information from diagrams. We won't get bored also. Next, information is given in a nutshell or in brief. The information will be very brief, not lengthy, it will be very short. Next, today we shall see information transfer of the three non-verbal types, namely, first one, pie chart, bar diagram, and tree diagram. First, pie chart. Information is present in the form of a circle, and you can see on the right side of the screen a circle. This pie chart is shown in the form of a circle. The circle is divided into sectors. You can see the division of the sectors also. There are three sectors which are divided, and these sectors, each contribution is represented by percentages. As you can see, one is 60%, one is 25%, and the other is 15%. Now, we shall see one example from the textbook. Using the information from the pie chart, write a paragraph. This is on page number 243. I hope all of you are opening your textbooks. Open to page number 243. You will find out this pie chart. This pie chart shows you the blood groups in the college. Based on this pie chart, you will have to in your examination, you will have to write one paragraph. Now, using the information from the pie chart, write a paragraph. Now, first of all, what do we see? We see that this pie chart depicts the blood groups of students in a college. Now, there was some technical problem. We'll continue the lesson. Now, information transfer from non-verbal to verbal. We have seen the pie chart of blood groups of a college. There's a problem. Now we'll continue with the lesson. Now the pie chart tells us that the students of a college have four blood groups: blood group O, blood group B, blood group AB, and blood group A. Now again, referring to the pie chart, we'll again have a look at the pie chart. Now we have seen that O group constitutes 35% of the entire pie chart. So we'll write Another line on that. From the figure, we can see that 35% of the students of the college have O group, and these students form the largest group. Now coming back again to the pie chart, you'll see what the second largest is the B group. Second largest is the B group, which constitutes 30%. So on that, you'll have to write one more sentence. The next largest group comprises students with B group, which constitute 30% of the total students. Coming up, you'll have to refer to the pie chart after writing each and every sentence so that you can write another sentence on it. Now coming to the next group, AB group. AB group constitutes 25% of the college. So you'll have to write one more sentence on that. 25% of students have AB group of blood, which is nothing but a quarter of 100. Now coming to the group again, coming to the pie chart. Now the final group, A group. A group constitutes only 10%. On that, you'll have to write one more sentence. Only 10% of students have A group. Last, finally concluding. Finally concluding, you can say that O group constitutes the majority, largest group, while the A group constitutes the least. On that, you can write another sentence. Likewise, you can write 6 sentences using the pie chart. Now we'll see another example on page number 244. On page number 244, you have another pie chart showing the favorite subject of students. There are 5 subjects here: economics, English, commerce, civics, and second language. Likewise, the pie chart is divided into 5 sectors showing the favorite subjects of students. We'll see what are the sentences here. First sentence, the pie chart depicts the favorite subject of students in a class. Next, we can see from the pie chart that 5 subjects have been considered: economics, English, commerce, civics, and second language. Next, coming to the pie chart again. Economics constitutes 25% of the circle. On that, you can write a sentence. A quarter of the students, that is 25%, preferred economics, which is the largest group. Next is the English. English is 20%. 20% of students like the English, and as well as commerce. Both English and commerce is the same 20%. You can see here. On this, you can write one more sentence. English and commerce are like by 20% of students each. Again, coming back to pie chart, the next is civics, which is liked by 18% of students. Civics is liked by 18% of students of that class. Last sector is the second language, which is liked by 17% of students. Finally, the least liked subject is the second language. Like this, you can write sentences using the pie chart. Now, coming to the second one, bar diagram. This is the second type of non-verbal information transfer. A bar diagram is a non-verbal representation of data. A bar diagram is a chart or a graph that presents data with heights proportional to the values that they represent. The bars can be plotted vertically or horizontally. You can find bar diagrams vertically from down to up, or from left to right horizontally. Next, in other words, it's a pictorial representation of information. Now, we'll see the construction of a bar diagram. Actually, many of you might be knowing how to construct a bar diagram, but some of you might not be familiar. So we shall see the construction of a bar diagram once. Draw 2 perpendicular lines intersecting each other. Here on the right side, you can find 2 lines, one horizontal line and one vertical line intersecting at one point. That point should be termed as O. Now, the vertical line is the x-axis. The line from down to up is the x-axis, y-axis, and the second line, horizontal line, is called the x-axis. Now, that point where the 2 lines meet is O. Choose a suitable scale to determine the height of each bar. On the horizontal line, draw the bars at equal lengths with corresponding heights. The height should be represented on the y-axis and the bar should be drawn on the x-axis, like this. Now, we shall see one example from your textbook, page number 246. One bar diagram. Now you'll be in your examination, you'll be given this bar diagram and you'll be asked to write sentences. See, this bar diagram represents the cost of vegetables in rupees per kg. you have two vegetables here. The blue color represents the carrots and the orange color represents the potatoes. And on the x-axis, you find the months, January, February, March, and April. The sale of these vegetables in the 4 months. And on the y-axis, you find the cost of the vegetables, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. So now we'll see the comparative cost of carrots and potatoes. Given is a bar graph that shows the cost of vegetables over a period. That is what we have seen just now. Next, again referring to the bar, right? The months are shown on the x-axis, which I have said to you already, and the cost of the vegetables on the y-axis. Now, the height of the column gives us an immediate picture about the comparative costs of carrots and potatoes over the months, and also the individual trends pertaining to each vegetable. There are two vegetables here. We can see the comparative cost of potatoes and carrots here. Now, again referring to the bar diagram, in January we find that the cost of carrots is 35 rupees per kg, whereas the cost of potatoes is 30 rupees per kg. On that you can write one line. So let us make a detailed analysis first. Detailed analysis. The bar graph shows the cost of carrots and potatoes over a period of 4 months, January, February, March, and April, as I've already said. Now in January, carrots cost 35 a kilo, while potatoes cost a little less, that is 30 rupees a kilo. Now coming to the bar graph again, see for the month of February. In February, you can find that the cost of carrots has shot up to 40. From 35, it's become 40. Likewise, the cost of potatoes has decreased from 30 to 20. On that, you can write one line. The cost of carrots increased to 40 in February, while there was a sharp fall in the cost of potatoes. Now coming to the third month, March. In March, the cost of carrots has still risen to 50 rupees per kg, while the cost of potatoes has also increased to 40 rupees from 20 to 40, doubled. The rate was doubled. There was a sharp rise in the cost of both the vegetables after that. And in March, the cost of carrots was 50 per kg, while the cost of potatoes was rupees 40. Now coming to the month April. Now the cost of carrots in April is 60, whereas the cost of potatoes is 40. On that you can write one line. In April, once again, there was a steep increase in the cost of carrots, but the cost of potatoes remained the same as in March. Finally, we can write one sentence on the conclusion. We can find that the cost of carrots goes on increasing. It doesn't decrease in any month, while the cost of potatoes is fluctuation. In January to February, there's a red has decreased. Again, it's increased from February to March, and from March and April, it's constant. That you can write another line. Thus, we observe that the cost of carrots kept on increasing over the months, whereas the cost of potatoes kept fluctuating. Fluctuating means up and down. Next, open to page number 247. You have been given another bar diagram, wherein when the marks of 3 students are given in the form of a bar diagram. And 3 bars are given representing the 3 subjects. Of the 3 students, Meena, Mala, and Megha. We'll see what we can write in that. Comparative marks of 3 girls in a class. The above graph shows the marks of 3 girls in a class, Meena, Mala, and Megha, in the 3 subjects, Maths, Telugu, and English. It is evident that we will see it once again. It is evident that Megha has scored more marks than Meena and Mala. Megha, the third girl, has scored the highest mark. We'll refer to the chart once again. You can count the totals. Now, coming to the chart once again, you can see that Megha has scored 70 in English and Maths, whereas in Telugu she has scored 60, totaling up to 300, whereas the other 2 have scored lesser than that. Now coming to another, Megha has scored the highest marks in English, and the least marks were scored by Mala. For this also you can see that Megha has scored the highest marks in English, and least marks were scored by Mala. Likewise, going to another, in Telugu, Meena has scored the highest marks than both Mala and Megha. See, based on that table, you are able to form various your conclusions. Or this is not the only way you can write your own in your own manner also. First you can compare the marks of, you can state the marks of Meena and say Meena has scored 50 marks in English, 65 marks in mathematics and 70 marks in English, Telugu, sorry. And likewise Mala has scored 40 marks, which is the least in English, 65 marks in mathematics, and in Telugu she scored 50 marks. Likewise you can write about Megha. From the bar graph, it is clear that Megha has scored the highest in two subjects than Meena and Mala, that is in English and Maths. We can find that Megha, the third student, has scored highest marks in English and Maths. Now we can write another sentence also. Mala has scored the least total and Megha has scored the highest total of all the three girls. That is the thing which I have said in the beginning itself, that Megha, the third girl, has scored the highest of all. Now coming to a tree diagram, which is the third mode of information transfer. You might have seen this tree diagram in your 7th class. If you remember, you might have the first in the 7th class English, the first theme is on family. Family relationships are shown by a tree diagram. Now we'll see what is a tree diagram. A tree diagram is another way of representing information. It has a branching tree-like structure. That's why it's called a tree diagram. Just if you uproot a tree and place it, invert it, it's this shape only. It shows how its components are related to one another, how one component is related to the another component. Likewise, you can see this for BPC students, the classification of animals or classification of plants. The tree diagram is used. Now, it helps us understand the relevant information in a short time. Just by looking at the tree diagram, you can understand a lot. You can show that a particular topic is divided into how many branches or what is the relationship between them. It is mostly used for classification of various things. For various things, it is used in the classification. Next, it is also used to show relationships among various components. Next, we shall see one example. Depict the paragraph in a form of a tree diagram, which is on page number 247 in your textbook. Muscles in the human body. This is a passage which is given in your examination. Based on this passage, you'll have to convert this passage into a tree diagram. We'll see what are that. I'll read it out for you. There are three types of muscles in our body. They are the smooth, cardiac, and skeletal muscles. Smooth muscles are controlled by involuntary responses. Examples of smooth muscles are muscles in the digestive tract and blood vessels. The second type of muscles is the cardiac muscles. It is also an involuntary muscle. Now, the examples of involuntary muscles, involuntary responses are, these three muscles are controlled by involuntary responses. What are those? Smooth muscles, cardiac muscles, these two are controlled by involuntary responses. So another, muscles that cover the heart are examples of cardiac muscles. The third type of muscle is the skeletal muscle. So he has talked about three types of muscles: smooth muscles, cardiac muscle, and skeletal muscles. It is controlled by voluntary responses. So we have two types of muscles. One is muscles controlled by involuntary responses and muscles controlled by voluntary responses. Now the examples of voluntary responded muscles are skeletal muscles. So based on this, you can divide the muscles in the human body into two types of muscles in this manner. Muscles in the human body are divided into voluntary muscles and involuntary muscles. Involuntary and voluntary. And examples of involuntary muscles are smooth muscles and cardiac muscles, whereas the examples of voluntary muscles are skeletal muscles, all skeletal muscles. In this manner, you can divide the passage. Here he has given you another example, which is taken from page number 248. A man who managed a popular hotel was asked the secret of his success. The person who was running a hotel was asked why his hotel was running so in a good manner by one of his friends. He said that only when customers were happy with the dining experience would they keep returning to the hotel. He said that my hotel is famous because the customers are very happy. They are happy with the dining experience, the experience which they are coming across in the dining. And he said that dining experience would be pleasant experience only based on two things. What are those two things? If the food served was of high standard, one component is the food, And the second component is good service. There should be good food and good service. If the food is good and the service is good, then we'll be successful in a hotel business. So good service too was equally important. He elaborated that good food served should be tasty and fresh. And he said that the quality of this should be tasty and fresh. Whereas the quality of service should be prompt and courteous. Now he's asking, the question is, represent the following in a tree diagram. We'll see it here. The same story which is shown you again. Now actually we'll have to take the topic as happy customers or good customers, happy customers. Customers were happy is the subject of this. Now, when would the customers be happy? Based on the food. If the food is served good, if there is good food and good service. So customers, happy customers can be divided into good food and good service. And likewise, good food can be divided into tasty and fresh. If the food is tasty and fresh, it is good. And if the service is prompt and courteous, it will be good service. So likewise, we can show this in the form of a tree diagram in this manner. Happy customers divided into good food and good service. Possible only with good food and good service. Good food is possible with when the food is having good taste and fresh. And the food is fresh. And good service is possible if the service is prompt and courteous or kind. Likewise, we'll go to the second part of this lesson today. Second part is comprehension passages, which are there at the ending of your textbook in the module 6. We'll be having 10 passages. Apart from that, you'll be having some more passages in between, which are to be answered. Now, we'll see what are the comprehension passages. Just teach us to think critically. We'll be thinking critically. We can draw inferences. We can understand the scope and main ideas of that passage. We can find or recall details attached to that and infer the meaning of vocabulary. We can also find out the meaning of certain words, difficult words of vocabulary. Next, comprehension passages are sure, short, scoring questions. By answering comprehension questions, we can score a lot of marks. Easily you can get marks because the questions are there itself and the answers also are there in the form of the passage. We'll have to identify the answers based on the keywords in the questions. Now, we are given a passage and some questions that follow the passage. The questions are to be answered using the data given in the passage. That data is given in the passage. You'll have to answer these questions using the data given in the passage. Now we'll see some more examples from today we shall answer some passages given in the textbook. See open to page number 254, comprehension passage 1, module 6 to unit 22. Jal, Jungle, Jameen, water, land, water, forest, land. Jal, Jungle, Jameen means are three Hindi words which mean water, forest and land are the words that fill us with the image of the valiant tribal fighter Komaram Bhim, fondly called Komaram Puli or tiger, born into a family of Gond tribals in the forests of Adilabad on 22 October 1901. Bhim had no formal education, but he understood the laws of nature so well that he declared that people who live in the forests should have rights on all resources. What are the resources? Jal, Jungle and Jameen, a forest. For those basic rights for his people. He fought against the Asafzai dynasty. For those basic rights for his people, he fought against the Asafzai dynasty. He took up arms. Took up arms means he started fighting against the Nizam Nawab soldiers and fought bravely for the rights of his tribes till he breathed his last on 8 October 1940. He died on 8 October 1940. Komaram Bhim lit the fire of liberation and remains a bright flame in the hearts of people. So this passage will be given and some questions will be given around 6. You'll have to answer those questions and you'll get the answers in this passage only. So you need not read the passage only once. You'll have to read it as many times as possible. We'll see how many times you'll have to read. See, the first question is, write the slogan of Komaram Bhim. So for this, you'll have to refer to the passage. The slogan is this one. Jal, Jungle, Jameen is the slogan of Komaram Bhim. That you can answer it. Jal, Jungle and Jameen. Now, the second question, where was Komaram Bhim born? Again, you'll have to refer to the passage again. In the second line, not in the second line. In third line, you can find born into a family of Gond tribals in the forests of Adilabad. So he was born in the forests of Adilabad. Likewise, third question. What was Komaram Bhim fondly called? What was he called by others? We'll see the passage again. It is in the second line in blue. It's given. Komaram Bhim fondly called Komaram Puli. He was called as Komaram Puli. Next one, fourth one. Did Komaram Bhim receive formal education? Coming back to the passage again. In the second line, Komaram Bhim fondly called. Fourth line you'll have. Bhim had no formal education. It's underlined. Bhim had no formal education. The answers are there in the passage itself. You'll have to just identify the answers and write them as answers. No, he didn't, or no, Komaram Bhim did not receive formal education. You can write it either way. Next, fifth one. What did Komaram Bhim fight for? What did he fight for? Now, for this also you have the answer. For those basic rights of his people, he fought. So you can answer this as Komaram Bhim fought for the basic rights of his tribe. Tribe means his people. Next, last question. Komaram Bhim fought against the Nizam Nawab soldiers. For this also you refer it. He said that he's asking whether it's true or false. This also is there. He took up arms, means he fought against the Nizam Nawab soldiers. So the answer is true. The answers are given in green color. Likewise, we'll see another passage after this one. Now, second passage, Kaloji Narayan Rao, 1914 to 2002, is a poet, freedom fighter, and anti-fascist and political activist of Telangana. Kaloji is acclaimed as Prajakavi. He was the first modern Telugu poet to write free verse. His popular Na Godava provides profound insights into the myriad issues and contradictions of his time and his autobiographical writing. Idi Na Godava. He has written 2 books, Na Godava and Idi Na Godava. And autobiographical work is Idi Na Godava. Is historical and reflective. Kaloji's fierce individualism and his refusal to submit to imposed disciplines kept him out of the membership of political parties. Yet, he was deeply political and was in the vanguard of many a protest and struggle. He consistently means continuously, fought for the democratic and responsible governments. Kaloji was a voracious reader, an ardent cricket fan, and a forceful storyteller. Kaloji was awarded the Padma Vibhushan, the second highest civilian honor in the country. He was also awarded an honorary doctorate by the Kakatiya University, Warangal in 1992. The Telangana government celebrates his birth anniversary as Telangana Language Day. Now we'll see the questions. How is Kaloji described as a poet? How is he described as a poet? What is the title given to him? Prajakavi. It's given here. Kaloji is acclaimed as a Prajakavi. Prajakavi is the answer. You can write Kaloji is described as a Prajakavi. Now coming to the second question. What is Kaloji's poetry marked for? He was the first modern poet to write free verses. So his poetry was marked with free verses. Third question. Why did Kaloji keep himself out of politics? Why did he not enter politics at all? This also is given. Kaloji's fierce individualism and his refusal to submit to imposed disciplines kept him out of the membership of political parties. Just by this word, kept him out of the membership of political parties. That itself is the key word. With that, you can write the entire sentence as the answer. From Kaloji's fierce individualism till political parties. What did Kaloji fight for? What did Kaloji? There's in the dark part of the passage, last line, he consistently fought for the democratic and responsible governments. That itself is the answer. He fought for the democratic and responsible governments. How was Kaloji honored by the Telangana government? It's in the last line, second last line. The Telangana government celebrates his birth anniversary by observing it as Telangana Language Day. This itself is the answer for that one. Next, name the Kaloji's autobiographical work. We have come across 2 works in this passage, Na Godava and Idi Na Godava. Of these 2, autobiographical work is Idi Na Godava. That itself is the answer for this one. Coming to another passage, which is there in our textbook itself. Human activities are causing an increase in global temperatures and related climate disruption. Climate change causes floods, droughts, heat waves, and massive storms. The effects will intensify or increase unless we reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Over the past 200 years, humans have greatly increased the level of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere by burning fossil fuels like oil and coal. Water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and ozone are the common greenhouse gases. Water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and ozone are the common greenhouse gases. These gases trap heat in the atmosphere. These gases trap means they hold the heat in the atmosphere. They want the heat to escape. They won't let the heat to escape. Excess emission of the greenhouse gases leads to a rise in the global temperature. Global warming is caused by this excess emission of greenhouse gases. Other factors such as deforestation have added to the problem. Deforestation is adding to the problem of global warming. Trees soak up carbon dioxide from the air. This is the reason for that. Trees soak up the carbon dioxide. Trees absorb the carbon dioxide from the air. Fewer trees means lesser trees, especially in the tropic, means that less carbon dioxide is removed from the atmosphere. See, by deforestation, there will be less trees to absorb the carbon dioxide from the air. Humans have caused this problem and humans can fix it. We have caused this problem and we can fix it. We must act soon to greatly reduce greenhouse emissions. This means all of us, individuals, communities, businesses, and governments must work together now. We'll see what are the questions. Mention 2 natural calamities caused by climate change. He's asking 2 natural calamities or disasters caused by climate change. Now, the answer: climate change causes floods, droughts, heat waves, and massive storms. There are 4. Floods, droughts, heat waves, and massive storms. We'll have to answer only 2. Floods, droughts, heat waves, and massive storms. Only 2 should be answered. Next, coming to the next question. What can humans do to reduce global warming? What can we do to reduce the global warming? Humans have greatly increased the level of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere by burning fossil fuels like oil, coal. So if we reduce the use of this, then we can. So humans should reduce the greenhouse gas emissions to reduce global warming. In order to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, you'll have to reduce the use of such fuels. Next, coming to the passage questions again. Name the common greenhouse gases. He has mentioned some common greenhouse gases. So the keyword is greenhouse gases. Common greenhouse gases. You can find it there here. In the second para, you can find it here. Water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and oxygen are the common greenhouse gases. You can write this line as it is. Next, coming to the questions. 4th question, how does deforestation add to the problem of global warming? He's asking how is deforestation increasing the problem of global warming? Now, deforestation means cutting of trees. Cutting of trees means lesser trees. So actually trees soak up the carbon dioxide from here. Fewer trees means that less carbon dioxide is removed from the atmosphere. In this way, global warming increases. Now coming to the next question. Trees soak up carbon dioxide from the air. Fewer trees by the deforestation means less CO2 is removed from the atmosphere. If you are able to understand the passage, you can write it in your own words also. Next, coming to the next question. Who all should work together to reduce greenhouse gas emissions? That answer also is there. We must act soon to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We means human beings. This means all of us, individuals, communities, businesses, and governments must work together. All the human beings are responsible. All human beings should work together to reduce greenhouse emissions. The last 6th one. The author wishes to point out, choose the best answer. He has given 3. Global warming is a major problem, but it can be fixed or solved. Or global warming is a minor problem, means small problem, and we need not bother about it. Or global warming will always be removed by global cooling. So of this, the answer is the first one. Global warming is a major problem, but it can be fixed or solved. Now coming to the 3rd passage, Chakali Ailamma. Chakali Ailamma was born at Krishnapuram village in Rayapati Mandal, Warangal rural district. She was married to Chityal Narsaya of Palakurti in Jangam district. Chakal Ailamma was a revolutionary leader of the Telangana armed struggle during the 1940s. She joined the Andhra Mahasabha, an organization founded in 1922 to oppose Nizam domination. The organization was later merged with the Communist Party. She worked actively against the Nizam and the local feudal landlords who mercilessly exploited the rural people, especially the weaker sections. Chakali Ailamma led the revolt against the feudal lord, Zamindar Ramchandra Reddy, known as Vishnu Deshmukh, to save her 4 acres of land when he tried to grab it. She fought not just for her right to land, but also against the exploitation of the poor in general. Chakali Ailamma's heroic armed struggle served as an inspiration for many during the revolts against the feudal lords of the Telangana region. Now we shall see the questions. Here I am not referring to the passage once again. Where was Ailamma born? Ailamma was born at Krishnapuram village at Rayapati Mandal, Warangal Rural District. Name the organization Ailamma joined. Just refer to the passage again. It's Andhra Mahila Sabha, I think. Andhra Mahila Sabha is the answer. She joined the organization called Andhra Mahila Sabha. Next, the Andhra Mahila Sabha was merged with the Communist Party. True or false? That answer also is there. It's true. Next, who was Ramchandra Reddy? Ramchandra Reddy was a landlord, Zamindar. He was a feudal lord. He was a feudal lord or Zamindar. Why did Ailamma revolt against Ramchandra Reddy? Why did she fight with him in the beginning? To save a 4 acres of land when he tried to grab it. In the beginning, she tried for her 4 acres of land. Later on, she fought for the other poor people. During which period did Ailamma become an inspiration for many? Ailamma became an inspiration to others during the revolt against the feudal lords in Telangana region. In this manner, you should be able to refer to the passage as many times as possible and answer all the questions. Now your assignment. The other passages also are given, but due to lack of time, I think we'll have to move on to the assignment. The assignment, answer the pie charts, bar diagrams, and tree diagrams from the textbook. From the textbook, some more pie charts are there, bar diagrams are there, and tree diagrams are there from the textbook. You'll have to answer all of them because all of them will be given from your textbook only. No pie charts or bar diagrams or tree diagrams will be given out of your text. So you'll have to be thorough with the textbook exercises. Likewise, read the comprehension passages given in the textbook and answer them. 10 comprehension passages are given at the end of the passages. I've answered 2 or 3 of them. Likewise, you try to answer the others by referring to the passage every time. Whenever you read, first you read the passage once, then go to the questions. And for each and every question, you'll have to refer the passage again. This exercise is, as you have already seen, you'll get marks definitely if you answer this one. With this, we come to and I think we have some more time. We'll see the passage on Abdul Kalam or Professor Jaishankar. Professor Kuttapalli Jaishankar, born on 6th August 1934 at Akampet, Warangal in Atmakur Mandal, Warangal Rural District, was an academic and social activist. He started his fight for a separate Telangana state in 1952 and ultimately became the ideology of Telangana movement. At the age of 10, he defied the Nizam's rule and sang Vande Mataram. Son of Lakshmikanta Rao and Mahalakshmi, he completed his school education in Hanmakonda, MA Economics at Benares Hindu University, and PhD in Economics and B.Ed at Usmania University. He published many articles on economic development and the injustice meted out to the Telangana region. He delivered a series of lectures on the topic abroad too, though he worked as the registrar of CIFL, now it's called as EFLU, and Kakatiya University, and as the vice chancellor of Kakatiya University. His heart and soul was in the movement for a separate Telangana statehood. It was Professor Jaishankar who offered lime juice to the TRS president Sri K. Chandrasekhar Rao when the latter broke his famous fast for Telangana in December 2009. It pains every Telangana lover to see that Professor Jaishankar breathed his last on 21 June 2011, 3 years before his life's dream. Telangana state became a reality. Vadavani Muchata is a book written by him. It's an account of his memoir recounted to Mr. Kompelli Venkat Gaur, and the book was released by KCR and other prominent personalities and activists of Telangana movement. Now we shall see the questions, and the answers are there itself. We shall not refer the passage here. When did Professor Jaishankar start his fight for a separate Telangana? You can refer to the passage. Yeah, you will get the answer. Professor Jaishankar started his fight for a separate Telangana in 1952. The year is mentioned in the passage. Second one, how did Jaishankar display his fighting spirit as a boy of 10? At the age of 10, he defied the Nizam's rule and sang Vande Mataram. These are the sentences taken from your passage. What is the theme of most of Professor Jaishankar's articles and speeches? He's asking about the theme. The theme of most of Professor Jaishankar's articles and speeches was economic development and the injustice meted out to Telangana. Next, sorry. What is the title of Professor Jaishankar's memoir? The title of Professor Jaishankar's memoir is Vodoni Muchata. Name the highest post held by Professor Jaishankar. The highest post held by Professor Jaishankar was Vice Chancellor of Kakatiya University. That also is there in the passage. Next, Professor Jaishankar spoke about the injustice meted out to Telangana region only in India. Now, not only in India, he is spoken about it abroad also. So this is false. Now we'll come to another passage. This is about Mr. Vidire Ramchandra Reddy. The day 18 April 1951 saw the creation of history of sorts in a tiny village named Pochampalli of Nalgonda district, when one Mr. Vidire Ramchandra Reddy volunteered to give away 100 acres of his land in response to Vinoba Bhave's call to do something to help the poor of the village. Influenced directly by the Sarvodaya movement of Gandhi, Vinoba Bhave walked across India to persuade landowners to give up a piece of their land. Vidire Ramchandra Reddy took the lead and later donated another 800 acres to his noble cause, thus winning for the village the title Bhudan Pochampalli. The movement ultimately succeeded in pooling 1 million acres of land for the distribution among the poor. The largest contribution to Vinoba Bhave's Bhudan movement, however, came from Raja Bahadur Girivar Narayan Singh, Raja of Ranka. This is in Garwa district of Jharkhand state, who donated 1,11,101 acres of his land. Now we have questions here. Name Ramchandra Reddy's noble deed that created history. He donated 100 acres of land to Bhudan movement. Next, what inspired Vinoba to walk across India seeking land? He was inspired by Sarvodaya movement of Gandhiji. Vinoba was inspired by Sarvodaya movement of Gandhiji. Next, who contributed to the movement on a large scale? The movement, large scale. I think this answer is, this is okay. The movement ultimately succeeded in pooling 1 million acres of land for distribution among the poor. Actually, the question, I think it's written wrongly. The answer is written wrongly. You'll have to correct it and find out the correct answer. Next, fifth one. We remember Ramchandra Reddy for his readiness to help the poor. Do you agree? This is the answer for that one. Fourth answer. We remember Ramchandra Reddy for his readiness to help the poor? Yes, we agree to that. Yes, we agree that he was ready to help the poor. He readily donated 800 acres of land and was called Bhudan Pochampalli. Now, last question. The passage deals with Bhudan movement. The land was meant to do what? Meant to help the poor is the answer. With this, we'll end up this class, and moreover, before ending up, you'll have to answer all the pie charts, bar diagrams, tree diagrams, and comprehension passages. Thank you.